Welcome to Mind Liberation Conversation, where I believe one vocalization can change a nation. I'd like to talk to everyone today about mental health. I had a comment in one of my previous videos to talk about mental health. And look, when I think about mental health, and I have in my life, I would like to say that I have had days where I've woken up and had self-destructive thought patterns, I'll call them. What if that conversation that we're having out in our mind is just our spirit, our inner self telling us that where we are and what we're doing and what we're focusing on and what path we're choosing to take just isn't in line with what we see for our ultimate version of ourselves? You know, what if it's just like an early warning system? What if that feeling that we have on the inside is just an indication within ourselves to tell us, dude, you need to choose a different path. You're not going the right way. This isn't where your calling is. One of the most amazing phrases I ever heard was from a motivator called Les Brown. And he said a quote that said, "The wealthiest place on the planet is the graveyard." And he said that in the graveyard you will find inventions that we were never exposed to, ideas, dreams that were never acted upon. And that sent shivers down my spine. Think of how many people have gone to the grave not doing what they were put on this earth to do because they ignored that inner signal, that overwhelming sensation of, you know what, I'm not on the right path. So when I talk about mental health for the moment, I'd like to talk about mental health from a different viewpoint. If you're going to look at someone who suffers from a certain predetermined diagnosis, to say, like from a physician, from let's say for instance a psychiatrist, when that person is told that they suffer from depression and anxiety, say, right, and you may be out there and be in a mindset where you feel that you have been diagnosed and it's a chemical imbalance, and you are the way you are, and you're just going to live with it. Now, I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. If you want to do that, you can do that. Here's the thing though. There's nothing wrong with being labeled a certain way. I think that understanding that you have a problem is the first step towards a solution. But here's the thing. Do you allow yourself to be labeled as that, and that's your story? What about instead of saying, I suffer from depression and anxiety, or I suffer from social anxiety, or I suffer from fear of this? What about you free yourself totally? What about you say, whatever you used to suffer from, you recreate yourself in the moment and you say, I used to suffer from depression and anxiety. Now I know that I must be diligent in focusing on my thought pattern and my behavior. I know because of my predetermined diagnosis that I was given in the past, I, of all people, need to be diligent in the way that I think and what I focus on and where I take my mind. So you ask yourself the question, if you are feeling a certain way every single day, I believe that we are creatures of habit. Now, a highly successful person has a very different habit compared to a very unsuccessful, unmotivated person. A highly successful person uses every second of every single day working towards their dream. They have goals. They have rules they live by. They have discipline and they stick to that discipline. They have their word and they stick to their word. So if you're looking at life from the perspective of someone who doesn't feel accomplished. Ask yourself the question and be honest with yourself. What are you doing every single day to work towards your ultimate version of yourself? If you're not where you want to be physically, if you're not where you want to be financially, if you're not where you want to be spiritually or mentally, ask yourself the question. Be honest with yourself. Don't allow that label that you were given to be a predetermined label for the rest of your life, so you don't have to have accountability for the fact that you aren't putting in what you need to do in order to get what you want out of life. Remember, you don't have, you had. That gives you power. The moment you take back that accountability that it's in you, that you have the power to make the change, that's the moment you get your life back. That's the moment you can recreate yourself into something completely different. That's the key. It is creating a habit of behavior. From the moment you open your eyes, taking yourself to a place of gratitude. Looking at the fact that you have clothes in the cupboard and a roof over your head and food in the fridge. And you can get up and have a warm shower. And just put that as the first thing to be grateful for. And then instead of going to that negative place where you start focusing on things that take you to a certain mindset, take yourself to a different place. You have that power. The difference between a winner mentality and a loser mentality is just the habitual steps a person takes every day from the moment they open their eyes to the moment they go to sleep and close their eyes, where they take their mind. Do you take your mind to solutions or do you take them to problems? Do you focus on what you don't have or do you focus on how you can get what you want? It's a very different perspective. And all it takes is work. The same way you go to the gym and lift weights, the same way you'd go and learn violin, the same way you'd learn an instrument, it is a habit. You have to work at it every single day. You don't watch one self-help video and it all just changes. It is a constant process. Consistency is key. Action is key. And above all else, if I could say one thing that'll take you out of that mental state, start with an attitude of gratitude every day. Find something to be grateful for. Because if you've got a phone to watch this, you're already in a better place than most of the people out there. Get your mind out of this mindset of what you don't have and what you're failing at, and get your mindset of how you can achieve what you'd like to achieve. And take your mind to how you can experience what you want to experience out of life. You have the power to change. You have the power to change your mindset, change the way you think, change the way you act. And if you're not there, great. I like to use this, it's called fake it till you make it. If you see yourself as a highly successful individual, then wake up and be exactly like a highly successful individual would be. Do what that highly successful individual would do. If you want to have more money, then start doing research on how people have more money. Learn how to save, learn how to invest, learn from people that have it. If you want health, then start living like a person who has immense health. An interesting quote I heard one day from a very close friend of mine said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So is that what you're doing? Ask yourself the question. I think look, to say that mental health isn't an issue in society would be completely wrong. But I believe, and I'm saying I believe, that mental health is a habitual place that you take yourself through habit of a thinking process. And the moment you can take back that power to choose what you focus on, you can change your world. Now, I might have a few people out there that are, disagreeing with this and think that I'm completely, what I'm saying makes no sense. Well, that's fine. You can think that way. But as long as you think that way, as long as you think that the label you have is your predetermined diagnosis for life, the moment you allow that condition, lost my words there, to take away your accountability, you can't grow. I would like to thank you all for coming forth on this video. Hopefully this really did help someone out there. Remember, you have the power to make change. You are the Michelangelo of your life. You are the creator of your life. What you believe, you can conceive. As your actions took you to a negative place, a self-destructive place, a place where you feel that you don't have hope, the beauty of that is you can take your mind to a completely opposite place with the same type of mind, with the same type of steps, but in a different direction. You can do that to yourself. It's time to take the first step to your mental health. It's time to take the first step to the rest of your life, because you have the power to change. You are powerful. You are an amazing being. If you have the physical ability to watch this video, then you're already halfway there. I wish you the best on your journey, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, habit is everything. Knowledge is power. Without action, knowledge is nothing. So take action and use this knowledge. Thanks for being on Mind Liberation Conversation, and I'll see you in the next video.